Whew. All right, guys, welcome back. Dom here. Welcome to today's workout. And as you can see by the title, we're just going to go and do a bit of an old school pump session today. It's been a while since I've done one. It's raining outside, so therefore I'm stuck in here. It's a little bit sweaty, but whatever. All right, so today's workout, there are only going to be 3 movements, that's it. And we're going to focus initially on a bit of slow and steady, some nice tempo. And then at about the halfway mark of the 30 minutes, after we've done say 2 to 3 rounds, or maybe even 4, then we're going to go into more of a pump-based session where we're going to pick up the tempo a bit, and we're also going to increase the volume. But please do not sacrifice the form for swinging and hinging and all sorts of nonsense. If that's the case, reduce the weight to go into the pump session. So 3 movements we're going to do. First of all, I've got a pair of 15 kilos. First movement is a decline seat. So we're sitting back, so an incline seat for me. And we're simply going to sitting back, and we're going to go for a double arm dumbbell curl, and we're going to go for 10 reps. So from here all the way down, full range, let the bell come back down a bit, and bring it up and curl and squeeze at the top and back down. Again, slow and steady. So if I'm doing it here, it is 1, down, 2. So we're looking for a 3 to 4 second. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tempo for the 10 reps. We're then going to sit up. We're going to place them down. We're going to go for a heavier dumbbell now. These are a pair of 25 kilos. Same thing. We're going to go again into an incline seated position, and this time we're going to come into a press. Now head lays back. For me, I prefer not necessarily neutral, but like a 45-degree press. I'm not really a fan of that out here stuff. I like to keep everything in close, so therefore that forces me to press through, and I can squeeze my pec rather than coming out and having to use my shoulders more. I want to try and focus on squeezing the chest. So again, I'm coming down, boom, 2, boom, 3. So again, that same sort of 3-second down, and then 3 to 4 second up, and repeat for a set of 10 reps. The final thing we're going to do, we've got some bands. You can see I've got a couple of layers of bands down here. Feet up against the place just so I don't pull the yoke over. And we're simply sitting there with the legs relatively straight. And again, I'm going to go for a supine, so an underhand grip. I'm going to sit up. I'm going to pull and squeeze back. I'm not going for an overhand grip. I'm going for a supine, which means for me, it means I'm bringing my lats, particularly my lower lats, a lot more and squeeze. And I'm trying to imagine I've got a tomato or a tennis ball or something between my shoulder blades, between my scapula. And as I get back, I'm trying to squeeze it and pop it. And again, I'm going to go for a set of 10 reps. Same thing. In this case, I'm actually going to go for a much slower rep. I'm actually going to go for a 5 to 6 second rep. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I'm going to sit back up, engage, and go against a slightly slower on the rep. That's how we're going to start. We're going to go for 15 minutes. Up to you about how much you rest in between. This is not a cardio session. This is a pump session. So I am going to get up, take a sip of water, maybe take 20, 30 seconds, come back down. The time between each movement, maybe 10, 20 seconds, not that much, because we're not going significantly heavy. We just focus on the motion as we can. When I get to the 15-minute mark, I'm then going to take from more of a pump. So I'm going to increase the volume. And what that does mean, I'm going to obviously then increase my tempo. So I'm actually going to go 2 seconds. 1, 2, boom. 1, 2, boom. As far as my chest press is concerned, likewise 2 on the dumbbells. It's here. It's going to 1, 2. But again, I'm not necessarily going to get the full range down here because I don't want to swing and I don't want to tear the bottom of the bicep. All right. So I'm still keeping my arms slightly bent. Boom. Boom, and I'm going for sets of 15. First 10's easy, the last set of 5 makes it a little bit harder, and likewise too, same thing down here, I'm going to increase the reps to this, and therefore it is more a pull, partial back, pull, partial back, pull, partial back. So other than the first big long one, I'm probably going back about 60%, and then I'm re-engaging and pulling again, re-engaging and pulling again. I'm going for a set of 15. What that did for me, I've got that many monitors on, I'm checking each one out, what are they worth, and I'll do a review on those later. I actually seen my heart rate spike. So if I'm nice and slow and steady, sitting around the 80 to 90 odd BPM, and then the minute that I hit these, when I'm going for a faster stroke rate and a higher volume, my heart rate actually peaked at one stage. I think in the Fitbit, I peaked at around the 170 or thereabouts when I did a set of that and that and that with minimal rest, and I got into it, and then I stopped, and then my heart rate went through the roof. It settled in the subsequent phases after, but I think the first round doing that, it was like, what the heck's going on, Dom? So therefore they peaked, but I did see that on all of the devices. So that's it. Now, let's say you're doing this at home, you don't have dumbbells. Can you do this with kettlebells? Yeah, you can do it with kettlebells. They're making it a little bit harder here. So I may well want to, instead of you leaning back, because they're a bit harder to curl, the bell will have a tendency to pull your wrist back. So therefore I'd probably stand up, but I want your wrist to be almost pronated, so pulling up a little tiny bit when you're getting your curl, and you can do standing curls with those. Again, by now, if you're following me, you know that a sandbag or a ruck is your at-home piece of equipment. Can I do this? Well, yep, I can go a little bit wider grip on my sandbag and go from the outside, pull it up a little bit hard. I can come into the narrow grip, and therefore I will stand. I'm going to come to the end of my seat. I'm going to have my sandbag between me here, and I'm going to do this likewise too with my ruck. But with my ruck, it would depend upon the type of handles that you got. I could use the backpack handles and pull up, or I can go to the handles on the side, and therefore it becomes more of a hammer curl. As far as the press, again, if I don't have a bench, then I simply want you to go and lay on the floor and just do a floor press. You might want to do a floor press, maybe bring it back a little tiny bit like you're doing a pullover and back. So push and try and push it in an arc, and that'll stimulate the upper part of the chest as you come over, because you'll have to control it to bring it back down. So a bit like the door hinge movement that you might want to do if you're doing it with the ruck or even the sandbag on the floor if there's no bench. As far as your seated movement, get yourself a set of bands. They're cheap. Go to Kmart, Target, Walmart, whatever is in your city, wherever you are. They're relatively inexpensive. I've got the medium, the heavy, and the extra heavy here, and I just simply put them all together to make something super heavy for me. But again, you're talking $10 for a pair of handles here at Kmart, plus a band is about 18. Looking at all up, you're talking $30, and you're going to get yourself a band, get yourself $200 or $300. You can't go wrong, because you can use them on a whole stack of other stuff as well too, where you don't want to fork out, $50 to $100 on a single pair of dumbbells. But with these, you can add, you can change, you can make it harder. So if that's the case, then get yourself a set of bands and do that. But if you don't have them, then again, you can come into that bent over row position, and you can focus on rowing and squeezing. Rowing and squeezing. It may not have the same resistance as the bands or a set of dumbbells, but at least use the ruck to get the motion and go from there. That's it. Someone is calling. My name is Dom McStraw. This is the McStraw Method. Please like, subscribe, and please tell a friend.